शलाकय चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश। श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्ण चैतन्यदेवम् श्रीराधा कृष्ण पादान् सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. So welcome back to the Saturday and Sunday on Sri Harinam Chintamani series. In the last class, we had began discussion on the chapter 8. That is the fifth offense to the holy name. The fifth offense is what? Hari Namni Kalpanam. That is to interpret the holy names, the interpretation of the holy name. Or you think that the chanting of the glories of the holy name is to be imagination. So this is the fifth offense, and Bhaktivinoda Thakur first establishes what is the glory name. So from verses 3 to 10, he mentions how anyone who chants the holy name with contempt or with faith, Krishna gives his mercy. There is no knowledge which is as pure as the holy name. There is no vow that is as powerful as the holy name. There is no meditations. Like that, so many glories Bhaktivinoda Thakur speaks. And then he mentions specifically the glory of chanting Krishna's name, which is equivalent to chanting 3 names of Lord Ram, and which is again equivalent to chanting 1,000 names of Vishnu. So one who chants one name of Krishna ultimately takes 3,000 names of Vishnu. Being such that the glories are such, a person who consider the glories of holy name as imagination will go to hell. So that's what the theme he speaks from 12 to 16. So those who offend the scriptures which describe these qualities of the holy name as exaggerations, they commit offense actually. And what is actually the offense they commit? They say that, oh, whatever these scriptures are saying, these scripture benefits are obtained by chanting holy, they are not really true. They are only given to attract people to the holy name. So they have this kind of a imagination because the glories cannot fit in their head. It is like the Kupa Mandaka Nyaya. And that is why they come up with their own limited understanding of the glories of the holy name. And this is where they commit this offense. This is where they commit this offense. And here we saw the footnote that why these people commit this offense, because they don't have faith, enough pious credits in bhakti, and they don't have faith in devotional service. They are having karma uttha sukriti or jnana uttha sukriti, not bhakti uttha sukriti. And that is why they cannot understand these glories of the holy names. So this is where we had been discussing. And the benefits of the holy name are true, and it is not exaggeration. What is given in the Karma Kanda portion of the Vedas as goal as heavenly pleasures, these are all cheating, and they are self-motivated for one's personal enjoyment. But there is no such motivations present in the chanting of the holy name in pure devotion. This we should remember, in pure devotion. Bhaktivinoda Thakur then goes on to explain that one should not renounce the idea that the benefits given by karma are exaggerations. So this theme he takes from 20 to 25. A person is given the holy name that has faith in the benefits brought by chanting of the holy name, engages in devotional service to Lord Krishna. He renounces the desire to attain material blessings. So, one who has Shraddha and Bhakti, he is given the chance to take the holy name, and he should renounce material desires. Whereas those who perform Karma Kanda, they attain material benefits in the end, and they are actually cheated. And both the Vedas and the Smriti Shastras describe the unlimited glories obtained by chanting. Those whose intelligence is covered by selfishness will reject such a verdict. So because these Karma Kanda and Gyan Kanda, those who follow these portion of the Vedas, they are selfish. The karmis want bhukti, the jnanis want mukti, and the yogis want siddhi. And that is why they are filled with selfishness and they cannot understand these glories of the holy name which are given in the Vedas, because their intelligence is covered by selfishness. And the karmakanda activities, they bring good and bad results. And the performer of karmakanda also has desires to get material benefits. This is the reason. A person should throw far away the results of karma and perform his duties. This will purify his heart and help him to chant the holy name. A purified heart strives for self-realization. Gradually, spiritual desires will arise in the heart and become powerful. So, these those taken to the they cannot understand the way in which gradually inspire the materialists to follow the rules of karma. Exaggerated results are given, and the rules are material. By performing activities, the karma activities, the material interests one loses the material interest and becomes purified, nishkama karma. So that becomes favorable for bhakti. This is how the intention of the Lord. So this is where we had stopped our discussion in the last class. So we will begin our discussion. Text 26 onwards. 26 to 29, the theme is the holy name is spiritual. The description of its glories are not exaggerations. So breaking. Let me change. I think now it is better. Is it clear now, Prabhuji? Hare Krishna. Oh, it's not working. Just a minute. Let me change the settings then. I'll just change the settings. How about now? Is it clear now? I think now it is, yeah, okay, fine. Okay, so today we will begin with the discussion from text 26 onwards, 26 to 29. Bhaktivinoda Thakur mentions that the holy name is spiritual, descriptions of its glories is not exaggeration. Namasaya Atmarati Nije Upastita Sadhana Kaleta Sadhya Vastura Vihita. The holy name includes self-realization. Namasai Atmarati Nije Upastita. It is both the practice and the goal of life. Sadhana Kalete Sadhya Vastura Vihita. So, for self-realization, the Gyanis have their path and the Ashtanga Yogis have their path. In Bhakti Yoga, we need not separately endeavor for realizing the self and the super self. Just by practice of bhakti, the self, the super self, and the source of super self, that is Bhagwan, all realizations are included. So it includes self realization, and only the path of bhakti, there is sadhana and sadhya. The means and the ends are the same. Kramera charama phala nama rasa hoy sadhu rupe anustita krameta nishchay. The real success of a saintly person's karma, when performed without material motivation, is attraction for the chanting of the holy name. So ultimately, one who takes up to the path of karma kanda, he is pious because he is following the Vedas. Slowly, motivated with the desire to attain material results, he does Vedic yagyas, and his heart is getting purified, and ultimately he'll start losing interest in the material results. His heart gets purified. Then he is motivated to do actions according to the Vedas without desiring the fruits, which is called as Nishkama Karma Yoga. So when he starts performing karma without material motivations, slowly his attraction for the holy name will rise. So that is how uh, they get purified so that they can take up to the path of bhakti. That is how these other paths are there, these indirect paths. Ultimately, they set the platform for one to take up to devotion. Athaiva Chaudaloka Brahmiya Brahman A Falanapan Namatahan. Even if a Brahmana wanders in the 14 planets, Athaiva chauda loka brahmiya brahman. He will not find the results anywhere in the entire universe which are easily obtained by chanting Krishna's name. That's why Bhaktivinoda Thakur in his bhajan, he says, Nama bina kuchu nahi chauda bhuvane. He says that there is nothing to be achieved in the 14 planetary systems except the holy name. So, one who has experienced ecstasy in chanting the holy name, he will from his heart speak this, what Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying. Nama bina kichu nahi chauda bhuvan. The post of Brahma, he will saying it is tuchya, completely insignificant, because he has relished a higher nectar in the form of the holy name. He is completely oblivious to anything to be attained in the 14 planetary systems. There is nothing to be attained in the 14 planetary systems. So anyone who has reached the stage of ruchi and asakti, he can experience it. He can experience this. What Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying, Nama bina kichu nahi chauda bhuvane. So one of the sannyasis was explaining in his lecture a reflection that although this is the ecstasy in the holy name, I as a sadhaka am not experiencing this. I know that this is what is the reality. I am battling with my senses and minds to focus on chanting. So that battle, what we do, although I know that there is no ecstasy higher than the 14 planetary systems and the holy name, I don't have this realization, but I struggle. I struggle to focus my mind and senses to hear the holy name. This struggle is pleasing to Krishna, although we might not have that realization. So when we struggle like this, then ultimately Krishna will give his mercy and we can experience what Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying. Nama vina kichunai chauda bhuvane. Nama phala saropari avashya hoibe karmi gyani himsa kari nama ki karibe. The holy name is the highest of all attainments, sarvopari. How can karmis and gyanis diminish the glories of the holy name by their fourfold statements? So the karmis and gyanis, they cannot diminish the glories of the holy name by their statements. We know that when Haridas Thakur spoke the glories of the holy name in the assembly of Hiranya Majumdar and Govardhan Majumdar, Raghunath Das Goswami's father and uncle, there was Gopal Chakravarti who did not have faith in bhakti. And when Haridas Thakur said, just by chanting Namabas, one gets liberation. So immediately, out of envy, stood up and said, the sannyasis and the jnanis, they go to the forest and many lifetimes they practice to attain liberation. And you're telling that mere chanting of the holy name one gives liberation? So he could not, understand the glories of the holy name. So their own statements will not diminish the glories of the holy name. Text 32, Bhaktivinoda Thakur mentions by Namabas, that is the dim light of the holy name, one attains all the benefits attained by karma and by knowledge of Brahman. So just by Namabas, the faint or the dim light of the holy name, one attains the benefits of karma as well as jnana. Sarva karma phala nama bhase labdha hoy, sarva jnana phala nama bhase te miloy. By Namabas, one attains all the results of karma. By Namabas, one meets all the results attained by jnana. Abhas miliya yadi ete uच्च फल नाम वस्तु तत्वाधिक pradhane prabal. By Namabas, one attains a greater result. Uच्च फल. The holy name has power to give result greater than what karma and jnana can give. Nama vastu tato adik pradhana prabal. It is more powerful to give greater result than karma and jnana. So let's see the footnote. By namabhas, one attains a result better than the result obtained or attained by karma and jnana. By namabhas, one attains the direct perception of the holy name. That result is much better than anything brought by karma or jnana. Who can doubt it? That means the point here Bhaktivinoda Thakur is mentioning that karma kanda yagyas have to be done. They have to be meticulously done. Even if there is one uh, mispronunciation of the mantras, the results can be opposite. And if it is not 100% done, we don't get the result. If it is 80% done, we don't get the result like that. But in bhakti, it is not like that, and especially chanting. So chanting, we get the results of karma and we get actually better results. So that is the point Bhaktivinoda Thakur is mentioning. Athaiva shastre yata nama phala gai shuddha namashrita jana nishchaya tapai. Therefore, the scriptures sing the glories of the benefits given by the holy name. Shastra yata nama phala gai. They who purely take shelter of the holy name attain these benefits without doubt. Shuddha Nama Ashrita Jana. So those who have taken shelter of the holy name, they chant the holy name, the pure holy name, uh, they can understand or they attain these benefits without doubt. Now text 33 to 35, Bhaktivinoda Thakur mentions persons who doubt the benefits attained from the holy name do not attain auspiciousness. So this is the theme he speaks. Ihate sandeha yar se adama jana nama prada tara avashapatana. They who doubt the holy name's glories are the lowest of the men. By that offense to the holy name, they fall down. That is certain. So those who doubt the glories of the holy name, they are the lowest of the men. And one who doubts on the glories of the holy name, he commits this offense, the fifth offense to the holy name. And that's how we become a namapradi. And that causes our fall down. Now, of course, those who are not in the path of bhakti, in the path of karma and gyan, they might not understand the glories of the holy name and they might interpret according to their imagination the glories of the holy name. Now, what about devotees? The devotees who are practicing, especially the chanting of the holy name, uh, they might also not be able to fathom the glories of the holy name. They have these doubts, but these doubts have to be clarified by proper inquiry. One should ask one's spiritual masters the glories of the holy name which are extolled in the scriptures. So by addressing these doubts, one's faith in the holy name will increase. That is why it is said doubt is a sign of intelligence. So one should express these doubts, clarify these doubts, whereby he can attain faith in the holy name, deeper faith in the holy name, and take up to more serious chanting. But those who are very, very new, who have not taken, whose Shraddha is not there in the path of bhakti, we should not extol the glories of the holy name in that kind of an assembly, because they have not yet developed that Shraddha and they will doubt, and in fact, instead of developing faith, they will become more faithless. So that we should avoid. And that will be another offense which we will discuss. That is offense number 9. Vede Ramayane are Bharate Purane Adi Ante Madhye Hari Namera Bhakane. In the Vedas, Ramayana, Mahabharata and Puranas, Bharate refers to Mahabharata. In the beginning, middle and end, Adi Ante Madhye, the glories of the holy name are described. Hari Namare Bhakane. Bhakane means glories. So, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, we all know, he has written his own composition of Harinam Chintamani, which is in line with the scriptures. So that is why we can see that this verse is found. Srila Madhvacharya was very fond of this verse and many times he used to quote. And Srila Prabhupada also says, Sripad Madhvacharya has quoted from the Hari Vamsha Puran. Vede Ramayane Chaiva Purane Bharate Tata Ado Antacha Madhecha Hari Sarvatra Giyate. So this is from the Hari Vamsha, and practically the same verse in a Bengali composition Bhaktivinoda Thakur has mentioned. Hari Namara Bhakane. Nama Phala Shruti Vakya Anadi Nishchal Tahe Artavada Kalpanara Kibafal. The words of the Shruti Shastra have no beginning or end. Anadi Nishchal describe the benefits attained from the holy name. How can those benefits be exaggerations or imaginations? So here is the question he is putting, that there is no end, in fact, to the glories of the holy name, which are mentioned in the Shrutis. So there cannot be any exaggerations or imaginations to it. Now I'll tell a very interesting incident which happened, and you have to answer whether it was, interpretation of the holy name. So we know that initially the hippies were the ones who were joining the Hare Krishna movement when Prabhupada began in New York, Fifth Avenue. And they were also into drugs, LSD. So one of the newly joined devotees asked Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada, what is the intoxication or the happiness in Vaikuntha? So Srila Prabhupada said, if you take 1,000 LSDs simultaneously, you get high. So that is the kind of intoxication or the happiness in Vaikuntha. So now my question is this explanation of Prabhupada comparing the holy name to an intoxication of taking 1,000 LSDs simultaneously? You get high, no? You get some so-called higher happiness. That is the illusion, of course. But this explanation, is it an offense, as we have been studying, to give exaggeration of the benefits of the holy name? Was it an offense of this explanation of Prabhupada? Anyone would like to answer? Yes, Maya Narasimha Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, I feel this is Prabhupada is saying this way.
1 second, just a minute, 1 second. Yeah, tell me.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Prabhupada's mood is to make the people convinced about the glories of the spiritual world, and that can be done only to the extent the person can appreciate. So this drunkard can appreciate the intoxication he experiences by LSD. So
Yes.
to fit to into his imagination, he is bringing down that so that he can appreciate the glories of the spiritual world. Similarly, we can also see Kandarbha Koti Kamaniya Vishesha Shobham. Lord is compared with thousands of cupids, but actually Lord is much beyond that. So that comparing that, we will get some sense of glory of that personality or that place. So in order to
Yes.
convey the message, he is using that description.
Yes, perfect. Actually, for those who are having experience of going high on LSD, what is the point of explaining Vaikuntha? They cannot have any understanding. So, Prabhupada, there is a principle, making the unfamiliar familiar. or the familiar, what is unfamiliar, you have to give them a familiar example. So if you take 1,000 LSDs and you get high, that is the happiness or intoxication in Vaikuntha. So he can relate to LSD. And that is why Prabhupada gave that kind of explanation. And this doesn't amount to interpretation of the holy name. This doesn't amount to interpretation of the holy name. So this is a very interesting incident, and that's why I explained this. Now let us take this theme 36 to 40. The holy name's power is limitlessly greater than that of karma and gyan. Nama nami eka name diya sarva shakti sarvopri kariyache tava nama shakti. The holy name and the person to whom the holy name refers are one. Nama nami. O Lord, you have placed all your powers in the holy name. Name diya sarva shakti. And you have placed your holy name above all other devotional activities. Sarvopari karyache tava nama shakti. So, which verse is Bhaktivinoda Thakur indicating by explaining that Nama Nami Eka Nama? No, Name Diya Sarva Shakti. Which verse you can relate to this? Which we are familiar with. There are two devotees who would like to answer. Yes, Birendra Pyada Prabhuji. I have unmuted you.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, it's a Namna Kari Bahudhaniji Sarvashakti, Satrarpita Nimita Smaralena Kal.
Yes, yes. This is the verse actually it is mentioning. That the Lord has invested all the potencies in the holy name. And there is no higher goal than the highest path is for us to take the chanting of the holy name. There is no higher path than holy name. Taramade Sarvashresht, Nama Sankirtan, Niraparade Namalay, Paye Premadhan. Tumita Swatantra Tattva Sarva Shaktiman, Tumara Ichaya Yata Vidhira Vidhan. O Lord, you are supremely independent. Tumita Swatantra Tattva. You are the master of all potencies, Sarva Shaktiman. By your desire, all the rules have come into force. Tumara Ichaya Yata Vidhira Vidhan. All the rules have come into force. Karme ke kariche jada ar brahma jnane diyache nirvana shakti swatantra vidhane. You have placed material results in karma. So the Lord has all the potencies and he has formed these rules that by doing karma, you will get these results. So karma, he has invested the material potencies. You have placed your nirvana shakti, potency of impersonal revelation in Gyan. Supremely independent, you have done this. Swatantra Vidhan, you have done this. Ichhamaya tumi Prabhu Swiya Namakshare Arpiya che Shaba Shakti Araki Arake ki Kare. O Lord, those whose, O Lord, whose every desire is at once fulfilled, you have placed all your potencies in your holy name. What more is left to be placed in your holy name? So in karma, the Lord has invested all the material results. In jnana, he has invested the nirvana shakti. And in bhakti, or especially in the nam, he has invested all the potencies simultaneously. So that is the point here. The footnote is there. O Lord, you are independent supreme personality Godhead, whose every desire is at once fulfilled. You have placed all your potencies in your holy name. How can anyone argue with your decision? When the Lord himself has done this, what more can be said about it? That's the point here. Athaeva tava nama sarva shaktiman, name artha vada nahi karibe vidwan. Your holy name possesses all powers. Hence, a wise person cannot say that the glories of their holy name are imagination. So, those who are Vidwan will not say this. So, all the powers are there in the holy name. Now, having given this Sambandh Gyan knowledge of how the Lord has invested all his potencies in the holy name, Bhaktivinoda Thakur comes to the point of the remedy for this offense. That he speaks from text 41 to practically the end of this chapter. Name artavad aparad ghate yadi dantatrina dhariya vaishnava samsadi. If one commits the offense of thinking the glories of the holy name imagination, Nama artavad aparada ghate yadi, one should, placing a blade of grass between his teeth, Dantatrinadhari, enter an assembly of Vaishnavas. So, enter an assembly of Vaishnavas, there is a footnote. Assembly of Vaishnavas means an assembly of Vaishnavas who discuss topics about Lord Krishna. So, in that assembly, he should go. Aparada Janiya Vaishnava Charane Shamamagi Kakuti Kariya Rijumane. Staying at the Vaishnava's feet, Vaishnava Charani, one should explain his offense with a sincere heart and with plaintive words. One should beg forgiveness. So you should explain first what exactly his understanding was, and then one should with a sincere heart beg forgiveness. Now I remember one of the new devotees who was practicing Krishna consciousness for maybe 1 or 2 years, and he was also chanting also regularly. He had gone for a IVF trip to Mayapur, and there he happened to see Jananivas Prabhuji, who gave a Bhagavatam class. And in the Bhagavatam class, he was explaining how the Mahabhagavat was filled with ocean of mercy and compassion. Although he is going through so much trouble, but still he accepts disciples. Although he might, face karmic reactions for accepting more number of disciples, but still, because of compassion for the fallen souls, he takes that trouble. So this was the point he was explaining in the class. This devotee could not fathom that how somebody is going through so much bodily trouble, and yet, why would he take accept disciples and suffer the consequences of it? So he could not fathom it. So he went and spoke to Janivas Prabhu and told that how is it possible? Why would he take this? And Janivas Prabhu just did not answer him and completely cut him off because he could not fathom what is the heart of a Vaishnava, especially a Mahabharat. What is the compassion he's carrying in the heart, that he feels suffering for the conditioned souls, and he himself is ready to experience suffering for others' benefit. So he could not fathom that because he was very new to devotion. So similar is this kind of an offense which I was mentioning, Artavad Kalpana. Artavad Kalpana, that was with respect to scripture, and here was a scriptural description given by a exalted devotee who has that experience. But we, in our consciousness where we are not still pure, we might not fathom this. And that time, sometimes we might have doubt, how is it possible like this? And we might commit offense. So that is why we should be very, very careful. If we do that, we should, with a sincere heart and plenty words, ask for forgiveness. So here in the slide, I've mentioned. Now, where is exactly this offense we commit, the aparad? By minimizing the glories of the holy name. How do we minimize the glories of the holy name? The glories of the holy name are exaggeration or they are imaginary. Interpreting the holy name. We interpret the holy name using material logic to give material meaning only to the name. This is kalpana. This is the two ways we commit this offense: minimizing the glories of holy name, thinking they are exaggeration or imaginary, and we use our material logic to give some material meaning to the holy name. And what is the cause of it? Oh, sorry, I'm not sharing the screen now. I'm sharing, yeah. What is the cause of it? Due to misunderstanding the spiritual position of the Lord, the non-difference of the name from Krishna. And the second reason we commit this offense is associating with people attached to karma and jnana. So that association will minimize our understanding of the glory of the holy name. So these are the causes for committing this offense. That's why Prabhupada, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is giving the right understanding here of the spiritual position of the Lord and the non-difference of the holy name and the Lord. Yes, Maya Narsim Prabhuji, you have a question?
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna, Prabhu Dandavat Pranam, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, sometimes the devotees to emphasize other aspects of devotional service. For example, sometimes even I heard from very senior devotees saying that actually Yuga Dharma is Vaishnava Seva, not Yuga chanting. So maybe they're speaking in a way to encourage devotees, but how far is it to be considered as a offensive statement, or is it a inspirational statement, Prabhuji?
Vaishnava Seva, yeah. The scriptural statement is actually that the Yuga Dharma is chanting of the holy names. And Seva, the Seva, as Prabhupada explains, Ata Shri Krishna Madi na bhaved gram indriya sevan mukhe jivado swayam eva spurita ada. So the Seva begins by two ways. One is vibrating the holy name and by taking Krishna Prasad. And by these, we begin our spiritual life. In fact, also in one sense, if you see, how do we develop Shraddha, faith? When we do some seva, sadhu sang. So definitely the scriptural statement is that the Yuga Dharma is a chanting of the holy name. But within that Yuga Dharma is included also, seva of the holy name, seva to the Vaishnavas and all. So with that intention, if it is spoken, then I don't see any problem. But completely replacing the whole philosophical understanding which we have and giving a new twist and turn, I don't think so. That might be the intention. So we'll have to see in that light and then understand the statement. Okay.
Prabhuji, is it appropriate, Prabhuji, once you mentioned in one of your class, quoting Raghunath Das Goswami and Loknath Goswami, I think, I don't remember exactly. You said to do proper Vaishnava Seva, you need to do first Nama Seva. So,
yes.
So that can be considered as one of the underlying point, Prabhu.
Yes, at the higher levels. At the higher levels. In the beginning levels, you need to do Vaishnava Seva in order to develop that faith so that you can do Nam Seva in the beginning stages. At the higher level, one has to do Nam Seva in order to do Vaishnava Seva.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Okay, because only at the stage of Namabhas chanting, one can realize abhinnatvam namanami. He can realize that. And then he does Nam Seva in the form of preaching the glories of the holy names. In the spirit of, as a servant of the holy name, he preaches the glories of the holy name. That's how he is doing Nam Seva. But those who are beginners, who associate with the sadhus and do some seva to the sadhus, by that seva, they are attaining Sukruti and their faith might be awakened. And then the sadhus will instruct to take Nam. So in one sense, that Vaishnav seva will lead to Nam seva. So we have to see from these different angles. Okay.
Thank you very much, Prabhu.
Yeah. So this is the cause of committing offense. And then what is the remedy? He should reveal his offense before Vaishnavas and ask for forgiveness. Most important is he is to reveal his offense to the Vaishnavas. Avoid association with offenders, especially karmis and gyanis. One should purify oneself after contacting such a person. So this Bhaktivinoda Thakur will speak now in the next verses. Namera mahima gyata bhagavat jana shama kari kripa kari dhibe alingana. Then the devotees who well know the glories of the holy name will forgive the offender and mercifully embrace him. So when we commit this an offense, those who are Bhagavat Jana, and who know the glories of the holy name, they will very easily forgive you and they will mercifully embrace you. Name artavad ar kalpana manana kabu nahi have chitta maya vidambana. Therefore, one should never commit the offense of thinking the glories of the holy name imagination or of giving an imaginary interpretation of the holy name. That offense is Maya's trick. So here is a footnote. Persons who have no faith in the holy name commit the offense of thinking the glories of holy name imagination. So the reason is no faith in the holy name. So for sadhakas, especially those who are taken up to spiritual practices of chanting the holy name, which is a yuga dharma, it is very important that we regularly study Nama Tattva, study various books which extol the glories of the holy name. And the more we study about the holy name, our chanting, our appreciation for the holy name will go on increasing. And that's how we can also become free from Namaprad. Persons who have no faith in the holy name commit the offense of thinking the glories of the holy name imagination. They are cheated and tricked by Maya. Artavad kari sah hoile sambhashana se chele janavi jale karibe majana. If one somehow converses with a person who thinks the holy name glories are imagination, one should at once jump in the Ganga with all his clothes. So this was also the remedy which was mentioned in the slides. It is not right to even look at the face of a person who thinks the holy name's glories are imagination. If one somehow converses with such a person, one should, still wearing his clothing, bathe in the Ganges. That is the right thing to do. If Ganga is not nearby, one should, still wearing his clothing, bathe in any other pure water. If that is not possible, one should meditate on bathing. In this way, one will become purified. So it's quite a heavy remedy which has been recommended. Now, I had one thought, but still we'll discuss it later on. Last verse, text 46. Krishna Priya Vamshi Kripa Bharasa Yahar Harinama Chintamani Tara Alankar. One who takes shelter of the mercy of Krishna's most beloved Srimati Radharani. Krishna Priya. Krishna Priya is the name of Srimati Radharani. And his flute, Vamshi, will be adored. Alankara by the glory of Harinam Chintamani. Harinam Chintamani. Harinam Chintamani Tara Alankar. इति श्री हरिनाम चिंतामणि अर्थवाद अपराध विचारो नाम अष्टम परिच्छेद. Thus Bhaktivinoda Thakur ends the 8th chapter, which is Artha Vad Aparad Vichar. He explains and he ends this 8th chapter. So now we will not discuss the 9th chapter, which is the 6th offense, Nama Bala Papa Buddhi. So this we will begin tomorrow. We will begin this tomorrow, the new chapter. Now, from here onwards, 9, 10, 11 are quite small chapters, and we'll try to quickly go through these. Wherever there are important philosophical concepts, we will discuss there. And then we will come to the most important chapter will be inattentive chanting, which we are all looking forward. So that we will go in more detail. So I'll stop here. Anyone has any other questions or clarifications? Okay then. Okay, there are 2 questions. Yes, Birendra Yadav Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Prabhuji, this verse 45, is it similar to the offense 9, which where श्रद्धालु व्यक्ति को हरिनाम की महिमा को उपदेश देना? Is it in that light?
Verse 45. No, verse 45 is explaining the remedy. It is explaining the remedy that one who hears from others, that all these glories of the holy name are imagination. When he hears that, in order to purify himself, what is the remedy he has to do? That he has to take directly a bath in the Ganges or in some pure water, or he has to meditate and he has to do mantra snan. So this is the remedy which is being recommended of those from whom he hears, who don't have faith in the glories of the holy name, this arthavad. So that is being mentioned. That has nothing to do with the 9th offense. The 9th offense is that we as preachers preach the glories of the holy name to the new people, and there is a risk involved there because they might not appreciate, because they had not yet developed Shraddha. But there is some risk involved, and we take that risk. But we lay the foundation. The most important foundation we lay is that we explain the philosophy of the Bhagavad Gita. That's why we take Bhagavad Gita courses. Those how people come in touch with ISKCON is through Bhagavad Gita courses, the 6-day course or the 7-day course. So that 6-day or 7-day course, it gives them Shraddha, Sukruti, and then we slowly start explaining the process of chanting the holy names. So in that way, there is no much risk. But if you have gone for a new program to new college students and you start speaking about the glories of the holy name, and these people have not have any faith, and they through their imagination might reject such an understanding, and then they commit aparad. So you have given room for committing aparad to them. So that's why you will be held responsible. So that is what is being spoken in the 9th offense. So that's the difference. I hope it's clear, Prabhuji.
Thank you, bro. Thank you, bro.
Okay, Maya Narasimha Prabhuji has a question. Yes, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. From my question related to first offense, Prabhuji, Vaishnava Aparadh. Prabhuji, I have come
Sadhu Ninda.
across. Prabhuji?
Sadhu Ninda.
Yes, Prabhu. So in that context, you have quoted wonderful verses like Apichet Duracharo and other verses from other places. Prabhu, in that context, I have come across recently one very staunch Christian followers, those who have similar understandings about the Lord and His glories and His name. But in external level, they do eat meat and other things. But every day they pray and they are very much devoted and they are very charitable to their organization. And in one sense, they represent most of the things what we are trying to aspire for. So in that context, other religious people also might be in the Krishna's point of view, Abhichet Duracharo, can they also be considered as sadhus? Because if we do not know what is their consciousness, uh, could it also lead to Vaishnava Aparadh if we label them in a blanket statement saying that they are inferior?
Especially those who have taken to other faiths, apart from the, that which comes in the fold of the Vedas, um, be it Christianity or other Abrahamic religions. Most important is that we should not disrespect them, because ultimately we have a very broad understanding that even these other things, other faiths or other religions have been given by Krishna only, based on their level of consciousness. So that is the broad understanding we have. And that is why with this kind of an understanding, we don't know their elevated platform or elevated level of consciousness. So unnecessarily being critical about it and criticizing them about their scriptures and criticizing them, that can be, that is not healthy. In fact, that is not at all healthy. And on the other hand, we should also understand what these other religions are and what this higher dharma we have been given in the Vaishnava dharma. So that kind of a comparative understanding uh, which is given for us, that will help us to take up to our dharma more seriously. Just for an example, like cosmology. Cosmology is dealt in other scriptures, but it is a very basic understanding. But the cosmology given in the Bhagavatam or in the Brahma Samhita or in other scriptures, that is more in depth. So there is cosmological description in the other faith religions, but that's not detailed. So we can appreciate what we have been given, and it is not always good to condemn or criticize or be critical about what is given. Basically, we understand, yes, they have also, their scriptures also, they are given, but not in uh, detail and not the highest understanding. So with this kind of understanding, we should see that we respect all the religions and we understand what is the highest religion. So that is why you see the mood of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he was conversing with the Qazi, he had a discussion. The interreligious dialogue first happened in the Sankirtan movement. So that was a very healthy discussion which Mahaprabhu had with him. And then he, even the Qazi gave an explanation that in your scriptures also there is a mention of animal sacrifice. You all eat meat. In your scripture also it is mentioned. So Mahaprabhu gave a higher understanding that ultimately in the Vedic times, the Brahmanas had the potency to check the mantra, the purity of the mantra, what they are uttering, to check that they were given in sacrifice. And they had the purity and the potency by which they could give a new body. So nobody in Kali Yuga can do that. And that is why he mentioned that all these sacrifices are banned in Kali Yuga. So this kind of an explanation was given. So we should have this highest understanding of what the true highest dharma which we have been given, and we should not unnecessarily be critical about these other religions. Okay.
Okay, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you.
Okay, so we'll stop here. So tomorrow we'll begin with chapter 9. Hari Bol. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Harinam Chintamani ki jai. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur ki jai. Hare Krishna.